Welcome back. Hope you guys are doing good wherever it is that you happen to be. We are going to get into some things that may be on the top of your to do list when it comes to this move abroad process. I will tell you that many people are in a position where they don't know where to start. So, what we do here, if you are new, what we do here is try to bring some education around the entire scenario of moving abroad. One of the biggest things that are on the move abroad agenda for people when they go and look in Google searches and different things of that nature is essentially digital nomad visas. The entire visa process is a completely foreign concept to the average American. The average American, even if they have a passport, may not be in a scenario where they understand how these visas work, what the requirements are, what also that you may need as far as additional things, because this is not a blanket statement. Depending on where you're going, just from a visa perspective, you may need specific documents, specific bank account statements that you need to prove. And that's just traveling. You'd be surprised now, most of you guys that tune in are going to be in a scenario where you are an American, so you've got a blue passport. If you don't have a blue passport, you probably won't run into as many nuances initially with just traveling to places. A lot of people in the United States don't know when they go and get that passport stamp, that thing that people were like, oh, I got a passport stamp from here. It was some sort of badge of honor. Well, that passport stamp, it gives you a certain amount of time depending on where you are actually getting that stamp done. So when we talk about the nomad visa in general, I always tell people to back up a little bit. Back up before you go from the United States and sitting on your couch to being in a position to think that you need to get the nomad visa from the United States without ever leaving, without ever really visiting. A lot of people in America aren't educated to learn how their passport works. It's the same things that we've seen in numerous other scenarios when you think about how to become an adult, how to move around. I mean, just think about it. Have you been taught how to do your taxes at an educational facility? Balance a checkbook? These things, even budgeting. Depending on where you went to school or essentially your home environment, you may or may not be privy to some of these things that the world or just what they expect of you as a normal adult. Well, putting in a scenario where you may be looking to move abroad, that is not what America is trying to put on your actual plate. However, you may be in a scenario right now where that is where you are. I am looking to move abroad, but there's so much information, it's hard to figure out where to start. And I always tell you guys, the first thing is you need your passport, but the second thing isn't that you need to go get a digital nomad visa. And the reason why is because depending on where you go, and I will tell you a lot of the places that you guys are looking at, Colombia, Mexico, Panama, these are places that you get 180 days just on your blue passport with no additional visa requirements. Now, that is a tourist visa, so that stamp counts as a tourist visa stamp. United States, I think, has over 180 visa-free access, so you don't need any additional paperwork to go to these places. But it does get nuanced down to where it is you go. So it's more than 180 countries in the United States, excuse me, in the world. And then even places like Brazil, they're now starting to require payments for Americans. Depending on what happens in the next couple of months, you may see more payments required for Americans to enter the country that you're going to that were not a part of what we're talking about just in today. The reason being, well, United States has started to tax people or charge people to come in or make them have certain documents that in the past they weren't. So reciprocity is a mug. They want you to do the same thing that they want. So places that are not car charging you right now, it is not guaranteed in the next couple of months or even going into 2026 that these places will not be charging you. Now, I'll tell you that is because one, when moving abroad, you have to realize that you need to stay informed with the information. Yesterday's information is not today's information. These things often change quickly. My best recommendation for somebody looking to move abroad, once they get past the 180 days in their tourist visa, what to do? My best recommendation is to actually work with a professional that actually does these things. Now, I know in the United States, there are so many different opportunities to learn. You can go on YouTube, you can go on chat gpt or whatever ai is your hat to put in what it is that you're looking to do, and it will walk you through based off of what your idea of it is. But what I tell you is that you don't know, because it's a foreign concept to you, if it is giving you some right information. With the Nomad visa, it is such an important thing to know that one, the Nomad visa has been positioned as if it's this long term solution. Well, you just go get the Nomad visa and then you'll be perfectly fine. I am here to tell you that that is not true. Anybody to tell you that is completely misleading you. And the reason why is because depending on where you're going, that Nomad visa in that country can be anywhere from 1 to 5 years. And that is up to. What we're gonna learn on this chat in this platform is the words discretion and understanding that things are down to the letter of the law. So if the discretion is written into the letter of the law, it is up to the person that you are in front of's discretion in a number of things. But you guys also have to realize that the changing in the visa process is something where you are already overwhelmed. You're in a scenario where you probably are overworked. You're probably fed up and done with America and looking to say, all right, I'm ready to get out of here. You think that you have time in your busy schedule of trying to clip all the things that's keeping you in the United States to become a visa expert? Maybe you can. But I always tell you guys the probability of your success is based off of what it is that you are willing to do, the things and the people that you are willing to work with to help you have a further chance at being successful. So a lot of people are hearing these nomad visas and the 1 to 5 thing and thinking, oh, well, I'm going to get it for a year. I'm going to get it for 5 years because that's what the country allows. Well, what you will understand about nomad visas and immigration is that that is actually up to. It's up to 1 year or up to 2 years or up to 5 years. So you could get it for those maximum amounts, but you could also get it for a lot less. So thinking that the digital nomad visa is actually a end all be all to your move abroad, oh no, you are mistaken. So many people don't realize the difference between actual short term and actual long term. Coming from America, you may think the 180 days that you get on your passport in the country is long term enough. That's 6 months. What more could I do in the country than stay there? But what if you don't want to move every 6 months? What if you don't want to? What if you would like to stay longer in the country and you don't want to? You want to use this country as your base? Well, you might say, "Oh, well, go get the digital nomad visa," and that will work until it doesn't. Because the digital nomad visa, the answer is actually in the words. The word nomad means you are nomadic, means you are moving around. You are not looking to stay here in a scenario where it is a residency, where you are looking to be here for over 100, was it 83 days that you are considered a resident in temporary status, I believe. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not the immigration lawyer, so do not quote me on that. But I know that for a fact, when people look at moving abroad and they're hearing, well, I have 180 days on my passport, that's plenty of time. It's plenty of time to figure something out, but it is not plenty of time to actually live your life. And even if you went and got the nomad visa for those 2 years, let me tell you a couple of things. One, as a person that has lived full time abroad for the last 3 years, those 2 years go faster than any time you have ever seen in the United States. Because you are in a scenario where you are like sponging everything that is around you. You are looking at scenarios to be learning new languages, eating new foods, trying new celebrations, traditions. You're getting into the country because some of you guys only know Medellin, Colombia, and that is it. Not knowing Santa Marta, Bucaramanga, Cartagena, Barranquilla, San Andres, Cali. There are so many different places in Colombia, never mind the country that you have on your radar that you're going to get access to at a lower rate than probably you flying from the United States and going there. I tell you that in Colombia, getting around domestically could be 20 to 15 to $20 one way on a plane. So these things, when you compare them to what we're used to paying for domestic travel in the United States, it gets a little more nuanced. So the time you're looking to explore, you think, oh, I got 2 whole years on a Nomad visa. Well, that is going to go fast. So many people don't realize that the Nomad visa, yes, it can extend you up to a certain amount of time, but it is not the end all be all, which is why you need to be helped navigate what options you have, because the options that you have come down to a number of different things. They come down to the country, they come down to you. One of the biggest things is you. And I don't mean you as a person, I mean you as what you do. Do you make your money abroad? Do you make your money as far as you retired? Do you have a pension that is coming in? You're a military vet, so you may not be old or retirement age, but you have a monthly income that for the rest of your life you're going to receive. Do you work for a company remotely? Do you own your own business? All of these things are going to dictate how and if you are able to qualify. We had one of my buddies, Daniel Luque from Capital M Law down in Medellin, and he was saying that these digital nomad visas, the people that are considered entrepreneurs and freelancers, these things are changing. And it is going to be nuanced 100% down to where you're going. But I would think, as a person that's traveled as Daniel is, he's giving me real information that this isn't just a Colombia thing. He says people that are in OnlyFans and are doing day trading only, they're going to start having hard times depending on where they're going to get these digital nomad visas, because those things may not be considered real employable income. They may be too volatile to be able to say, well, we know that you make this on a consistent basis, which gets into the things that you actually need to get the nomad visa. So many people just think, oh, I'll just tell them my name and then, I'll just show them my passport and that's it. That is wrong. And not only is it wrong from, it's always been wrong, but it's wrong from a scenario that I told you, what is today may be a different process tomorrow. So these things are consistently changing. What you now need to get the Nomad visa is some very important information about you that you need to prove and show to a government. So, depending on where you're going, you need to show that you make a certain amount of money a month. I have seen down in Colombia, it has been $1,000. You need to show $1,000 a month that you make in the United States or wherever it is you're coming from in order to be able to qualify for the Nomad visa. That is important to keep in mind because one, that considers how much things cost. $1,000 times 12 months a year, that's $12,000. Where can you live in the United States and afford anything at $12,000 annual a year? Never mind putting yourself into a scenario where looking at just the dollar amount, these things also cost money. But they're going to ask you, how much do you make? I know other places could be $3,000 a month, 3,500. It just depends on where you're going. So you're going to actually have to show bank statements that prove, yes, you just can't write on the dotted line. Yes, I make this much. Don't ask me anything else. No, they want bank statements. They're going to ask you for bank statements. They're going to ask you, obviously, for your passport information. Man, they got a lot of requirements. And I know Colombia, I can only speak on Colombia specifically, but outside of that, you guys need FBI background checks and fingerprints. Yeah, guess what? When I first moved to Colombia, you didn't need an FBI background check. You didn't need fingerprints. It was a scenario where my folks literally applied, and then I applied like 2 weeks later. I needed a whole new set of paperwork in 2 weeks, 2 weeks difference. So that's why I said, make sure you guys are keeping your eye on what it is the requirements are. Some of these things are going to be staples. It may just be more documents that are needed outside of the things that I mentioned. But FBI background check, you're going to need to get that done. You're going to need to get your fingerprints. They need to know who you are. Make sure you're not some sort of crazy criminal coming into their country and everything else. You're going to need to have proof of insurance. So this is a general thing I'm about to tell you guys because I know you guys are living wild and free. But one thing I will tell you is so many people travel and do not have medical travel insurance. And you might say, "Oh, I got insurance in the United States." What are you talking about? What I'm talking about is the fact that if you don't look at the black and white of your insurance, may not cover you where it is that you are, one, going to live, two, even going to vacation. You go to Jamaica, you go to DR on a resort, and you go and you slip and you fall. And it was your fault and not theirs. Or I've seen some things where this one lady in Jamaica, she went swimming with the dolphins. Somehow the dolphin nose hit her in her groin area and she was in the hospital like all messed up. She didn't have her insurance and her insurance didn't cover her in Jamaica. You got to also look at not only where it covers you but what it covers, because risky behaviors, skydiving, scuba diving, jumping off a cenote, some of these things may not be covered. But these things you do need to go about having for the Nomad visa. You do need to show proof of insurance that you can be insured. Now, the craziest thing is, I had insurance the entire time, but when I actually got sick and went to the doctor, or at least called the doctor and came to my house, it was so cheap. I didn't even worry about going through a claim. It was like $30 to go get the doctor to come to my house, maybe 35. Like, but you actually have to prove these things. These things are important because these documents can change as far as being added on. You also need to show your proof of work. Who is hiring you? Are you allowed to work remotely? Now, that is a real gray area with things because some of you guys, it plainly says on your offer letter, you can work remote anywhere in the country. Very little bit of you guys says you can work remote globally on the paperwork. However, if it says you can only work remotely in the United States, that is the paperwork that you have to show. So consider these things when you're moving abroad, because I'm seeing people coming back because they're losing their jobs because their job doesn't know that they're abroad and they've not gone through certain processes from VPNs and physical VPNs back in the United States to be able to have some sort of protection or a tunnel. Yes, everybody's just typing in digital nomad visa and how can I apply? And not realizing that you need to make certain that your job is not going to be in this scenario of you take their equipment out and you end up getting fired because your VPN says you're in Thailand. I've seen it. These things are really happening. But one of the things that I don't think you guys heard, well, you heard it, but I don't think you guys really understood. I am not a professional when it comes to an immigration visa. I go through the professionals because I have plenty of things to do. This is my head. I'm good at this. I can go on here and I can give you information. However, the immigration lawyer, he helps people exactly like you and me, whether it's how to get the digital nomad visa, what other visas that you can actually apply for in that country and that you may qualify for, because everybody is different. You might be able to get a student visa and start taking language classes there. You may be able to get a business visa and open up a business. So many people are like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go get the investment visa," thinking because it's a quote unquote third world country that the investment visa is some small amount of money that you can just you can just go buy a property for 10, 15,000, and oh well, that's going to be enough to get that. Well, maybe you can get a place in your country that you have decided to move to for 10 or 15,000 USD. However, a lot of times the actual investment part, the visa, the qualifications for that are way higher. Most of the time, I know in Colombia it is based off of the minimum wage. So it's like a hundred thousand times the minimum wage or something. It's like $125,000 that you would need. Whereas, at least in Colombia, you have to look at where you go. I know that the business visa, so opening up a business in Colombia is like 30 or 35,000. Can change, but that is a big difference between 125 and 35. But now you've got to become a business owner. Now there may be other ways. I know everybody's in a 90-day fiance, so maybe you marry a local. I mean, that's an easy way, I guess, but you never know. The other visas and the most ones that are people are looking for are things that some of them will lead you to long term. Some of them are only short term. The digital nomad visa in most countries that you can use it, it actually doesn't give you any time towards, like, it doesn't show that you're accumulating time there. It's just temporary. Whereas some visas will say, okay, well, you need to have a total of 5 years or 7 years total as this kind of resident here, and then you can apply for citizenship or residency where you're a permanent resident. These things will also vary to where you go. But what I will tell you is long term visas, those things are extremely nuanced. Those aren't people like, oh, we can just go to Thailand and get the so and so visa. And I'm like, what average American has $15,000? Seriously, do you have $15,000 liquid ready to go spend it on a visa? So when looking at some of these visa options, I need you guys to not only just go to hit the Google chats, I need you to go and start asking some people if you're really interested in doing this. You got the heads up tonight that your passport is going to give you some time. Just look how much time it will give you when you go get that stamp. But you also need to understand that when you are looking to make that turn, whether it's the Nomad visa, whether it is what else is the out there? I mean, there's a bunch of different kinds of visas that you can get, but the Nomad visa is the one that's the most popular. I wanted to have this conversation tonight because excuse me, I realized that you guys don't understand that that Nomad visa is just it's step one, a part of in your journey. Now, if you tailor your journey in a good way, you could do a couple of different things. If you use your passport and only want to use your passport, you don't need to fill out anybody's paperwork unless you're going to stay somewhere for 180 days. But a lot of these people that are looking to travel are like, well, I want to see all of what I can. I want to get out and move to Colombia, and then I want to go see Ecuador and want to go see Peru. And it's like, well, another thing that a lot of people don't know about their good old passport and how things work, once you leave, that stops your time. So if you get a 90-day passport stamp and then you go for 70 days straight and then you leave on the 71st day, that's it. The next time you go, you get another 90-day passport stamp. What you have to understand is the number of days that you have in the year. Most of these places are 180 days in the year. So let's back up a little bit because I know that can get really confusing. Your passport stamp gets you 90 days in most places. In some places, it doesn't give you all 90 days. We talked about discretion because, yes, passport stamp, no problem. Nobody says anything to you. Boom, give it to you. 90 days, here you go. But if somebody at the immigration agent writes in 30 days, 46, based off of wherever you've been going, how long you've been, how many days you have there, everything is down to discretion. So you might say, well, sir, I have 90 days. And he's like, well, listen, I got more people to see. One of the things I tell people is you are not in America when you are traveling these places, and immigration is definitely not the place to have an attitude. Don't get me wrong, because I have definitely had an attitude in immigration sometimes, but it is definitely not the best place because people will not care, and then they can just put you on a plane. You can go back home. You can be denied entry from the country. So when you're going through immigration, make certain that if somebody does something that is a little, why'd you write 90 days? Ask politely, but then understand that it is what it is. You can't, there's certain things you can do and there's certain things you can't do. And a lot of things you don't want to do. But understanding these things is part of what goes into navigating how to move abroad, navigating how to travel abroad, understanding that this discretion thing is sometimes in your favor, sometimes it's just a part of the challenges of, travel. I don't know why this guy had a bad day and did this, but here you are. Discretion will it's a different ball game. You just have to have patience. I think patience is one of the biggest things with moving abroad because you're new. You're like a little baby. You're like walking around like, oh my gosh, I can barely walk. I don't know the language. What are they saying? What's that sound? Things sound different. I don't know what anybody's like. These things could make you almost feel like a child in a new place. So understanding that one of the things that you don't want to, because that thing is going to happen. You feeling like a brand new baby in the place, that's going to happen. But you knowing how to navigate what your passport does for you, understanding that if you're going to get the Nomad visa, it's not okay. I got the Nomad visa and I never have to get it again. It's like a BBL. You're gonna have to get some upkeep on that. It's not gonna last as 20 years. It's gonna last about 2 years. Then you're gonna need to go back under the searches table and see what they're gonna kick out for you. Seriously, so many people think that this is the end all be all, and not realizing that these things are going to change, and how much paperwork and the cost keeps rising. The more documents they need, the more things that they need translated. Oh, well, I can put it in Chat GPT. No, the hell you can't. They don't want to hear that you put it in Chat GPT. They want you to go to an official translator and then have that essentially apostille, which is like the notarization, like a notary of your documents. So these things can be anywhere from $30 to $55 per page, and you might need 10 to 15 pages done, plus the cost of the lawyer, plus the cost of the application. You guys have to realize that these things can add up. Now, I will tell you to do some research when you're navigating who you're going to go with as far as your immigration lawyer. And I say that is because I have my guy. However, I have heard so many different people tell me the most outrageous prices for an immigration lawyer. Now, I will tell you that this is going to depend on where it is you go. But I've heard people in Colombia charging 13, 14, $1,500 for the one person for the Nomad visa. And I'm like, that is a lot of money. $1,500 is like 4 months, 4.5 months of minimum wage salary in Colombia. That is that seems like a lot. Whereas when I started, I would tell you the things definitely went up, but I think I paid like 400, 350 maybe for the Nomad visa. Now they wanted more documents, so the last time it was probably closer to like 550, but nowhere near 1,500. So that's why I tell you guys, because what happens, and people are asking me, I see somebody commenting, people are asking me, hey, what's going on? Well, they get stuck in their visa process. So I filed my visa on my own, and I don't know where to do this. They sent me something back. I mean, translation says this, and I literally stopped them and say, I have never filed my own visa. I am not looking ever to file my own visa. I have so many other things to do to become an immigration visa expert. That is why you see so many people on our platform that are able to give you all of the tools that you need, the immigration person, the healthcare person, the the real estate person, the property investment person. Well, the property investment person has to work with the lawyer person because it's a legal transaction that's happening. I try to make these things as easy as possible for you guys because I see so many people in the chats having a bad time, getting denied for their visa, or paying an arm and a leg for things that just don't cost that much. But with American expectations comes American prices. You guys are so worried about the gringo tax, not realizing that if you are doing a lot of these things that you're hearing on this platform, you're putting yourself in a scenario to literally be successful at moving abroad. Be connected to the people that you need to move abroad. Understanding that, yes, you can get the Nomad visa, but they're going to want to know how much money you make. I mean, you're going to send bank statements, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, depending on where you're going. They're going to know all your business, how you make your money, who you work for, what job that you have. These things are what the Nomad visa requires, never mind majority of the other visas. The people that are the business owners going to need to have your documents together, your state of organization documents. You're going to need to have paperwork from the government that says you're a legit business, paperwork from the state that says your business is active with the state. These things can be done before you leave. However, I tell you, before you go, like, and get the Nomad visa, your best is to use your passport, because the Nomad visa requires not only money, but your information that you have to give to somebody. But what I tell you is that 180 days It's going to give you your best understanding of what your life is going to be like there. So before you go telling everybody how much money you make, what's your employer and your boss name, what your fingerprints are, and what you have done or not done with the FBI, why don't you just use your passport? And then when you are ready, let's say it takes 80 days. Let's say it takes 120 days. Well, nowadays I say it takes anywhere from 30 to, let's call it even 60 days, but most of the time it's like 30 to 45. Once you apply to get your visa approved or denied or some sort of answer. But if you can get up to 120 days and you're like, I really like it. I know what neighborhoods I want to be in. I found my little community of people. I know what I do on a Tuesday. You can put yourself in a scenario where you are actually going to put money towards a visa that makes sense. So many of you have been dating your destination from TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and really haven't spent the time to live the life that you are saying you're ready to clip everything from the US from. You're ready to clip everything that you know in your entire life and give it up. All because of essentially what you've done your research on. But I tell people the best research that they can do before they go and apply for visas or even start selling anything. I know you want to leave, is to go. If you could keep your little place that you have in the United States for a while, right? Go spend the 90 days in your destination. Yeah, you might still have to pay rent and everything else, but your expenses are going to go down. Like, yes, you might have to pay rent, but you could turn off the cable and the internet for the next 3 months. You go get a nice little spot in some one of these places just so you could really experience it. And you get there and you're like, man, you know what? It's time to go back home, cut that lease, the cable not coming back on. They can have the car back, wherever it is that you need to go. But think about somebody that went and didn't do that in their success rate. They went and sold all their stuff, only went on the destination trips from TikTok, Instagram. Maybe they went for a week or so and they saw the fun, the cool things you could do in the city, but they really didn't go. They just went. And then they got there and then they had to start from square one. Because that 1 week, how many people did you meet? How many things do you know where the grocery store is, the bank, the mall, the co-working spaces? Do you know where any of these things are? Do you know what your daily life is? You got to get out in the haste of you running out of America, getting into a new environment, new culture, new language, maybe even a new time zone, and think that over the next couple of weeks, it's just going to just magically unravel and be like, oh, everything just fell into place. It don't work like that. If it was to be able to work like that, so many people wouldn't be returning home. I tell you guys, your best opportunity for success is to legitimately take the opportunity that your blue passport gives you. If you are literally looking to go leave and move abroad, and you're really at the wits end of America, less is going to take you more money, but it's going to be better in the long run. And I say that is because, yes, you're going to have to keep your little rent for a while you go try to see if this is going to be worth you go selling everything. But if you go find a three, four, $500 apartment somewhere, 1 bedroom studio in the place that you want to be, I'm going to tell you that food costs are going to be lower. You're not going to have a car, so you probably have to be going to a place that is walkable. But those things are going to be different for your pocket. But it gives you a better stability, a better foundation of actually succeeding. So that way, by maybe day 50, you're like, yo, I don't even need all these 90 days. I done found my folks. I know what to do, where to go. I know what my routine is. I am ready to go back home and I am ready to give America back whatever it is that I need, pack everything that I go up, and I've already made contact with a realtor that is trustworthy. I rented from him while I was down here. These things are so important. So many people will say, yes, if you're really going to leave America, you need to call my immigration lawyer right now. Sure, somebody will give you $1 if you send somebody to them, but if I was here for $1, then we would be talking about all different things, to be honest with you. What I do is to kind of give you the understanding that somebody, and there's so many people that actually care about the people that are coming abroad. Not only because I care about my folks, so I care about people that look like me and having the opportunity to succeed. But what also happens is, what you guys don't realize is your success is essentially our success. And by our, I mean the people that are already living abroad. And by you, I mean how and what you do when you go to move abroad. Because as Black people, we are Black all over the world. So you'd be surprised how things will be an American did this and an American did that. But the moment that is a Black American, all of a sudden the word extranjero has Americano, African Americano de extranjero on it. And it's just like, well, hold up. So I tell my people, yes, I'm doing this because I care about your success, your individual success. I may never meet you, but what also happens is when people come abroad and they are ill-equipped, they don't know how visas work, they don't know how to adapt to culture, understand and adapt to new language. What realistically happens is the people that were there before, not the expats, the people that were are the locals, the people that grew up there for generations and generations. They no longer have a glee in their eye or any type of excitement because people are coming there and expecting America to be there. So if I can help shape your journey wherever it is that you go, I may never touch the country that you actually go to. But if you can go there with a lot more education, a lot more things in your relocation book bag, you'd be surprised how open places would be. And from a diaspora, the Black travel community, you'd be surprised how many more places we'd all be starting to be welcomed into. But you don't understand how you going abroad with no education and no understanding of how to maneuver and how to navigate these things, it can affect all of us that are living abroad. We see this now where people are upset that people are coming and gentrifying their neighborhoods and their countries. And depending on where you're from in America, as a Black person, it may be really difficult for you to wrap your head around gentrification. Like, I know what it is, but do they know who I am? And you're not realizing, I tell you, we have so many weapons that don't get utilized until we actually leave the United States. You may have a job where you are considered a poor individual in the United States, but if you only have to show in Colombia is $1,000 a month, most people that have a job make more than $12,000 a year. So even a person at $20,000 would be well over what the minimum requirement is. So you have to realize that your money automatically goes further. America is one of the richest countries in the world. Americans, even the poorest American, make more than the average wage worldwide. The reason why that you don't feel that is because everything costs so much in America. So when people with their binoculars are looking into America, they're saying everybody's got money there and not realizing that everybody does have money on the global scale, but what's in their pockets because everything costs so much is pennies, if that. So when you move abroad, you are actually in a benefactor scenario that you have never been able to drive. You have to realize that the US dollar is going to go further in most of these places. So what that looks like is it now puts you in the circle of you can be a gentrifier. You can be. And that's why I tell people start with your passport because you aren't going to want to leave. You're just going to want to dive in deeper if you didn't spend all of this money to get a visa. Whereas you could actually dive in deeper from a working with the local community, working with the expat community, working within yourself as far as who you are and your quality of life and where it is that you want it to be. So many people now are at the moment to rush out. Depending on what you have been paying attention to in the last week, it's even more reasons than the last 2 weeks that we've been talking. Yet these things are consistently changing. So what I can tell you is you might not be able to leave tomorrow, but what you can do is a number of things. One, you can go listen to all the videos because we cover so many topics. There's over 190 videos on our YouTube at Black Expat Life Abroad. Please take your time, but there are so many topics that have been covered, so many real conversations similar to this that you need to hear to help put it into your relocation book bag so you can get your tools together because it's a long journey, but it's going to be a great journey. What you also need to do is understand that just because you don't know doesn't doesn't give you the right to leave unprepared. You should stay until you get some actual research. Because your journey, never mind what we're going to feel or what anybody else is going to feel, you are in a position where you're like, I'm giving up everything I know. So that means, from my perspective, looking at, because I was there too, you are at your wits' end. You are no longer considering what felt comfortable and safe, comfortable or safe. But being in a scenario where you're going to walk out into a place with no rations and going on the journey and you got blinders on, it's not okay. I want you guys to have success. The success that you're looking for is actually an opportunity to transform your life. We talk about this all the time. The move abroad is a transformation. It's a crossroads and an ability to say, I am changing my life. I'm willing to leave everything. It's think about it like how they used to paint those pictures of the, the people that went west. Remember Oregon Trail? They were like they went out west looking for gold and riches. Now, you're not looking for gold and riches or anything, but you are charting on uncharted territory. Now, the people on Oregon Trail was nobody that already went on the Oregon Trail that they could talk to. You are in the benefactor where you ain't got to get dysentery, your oxygen don't have to die. But so many of y'all are willing to do that because y'all are not willing to listen to people that have already done it. Not just me. I'm not saying this is the only place that you're going to get information, but I'm saying like real people. And you having enough nuance to be able to navigate who is giving you something for real. Do you know how many people that just left this year are now hosting classes to teach other people? I don't even know how that's possible. You could do something for 6 months and now have the mastery of it enough to teach. I've been going for 3 years, and it took me all of that time, damn near, just to be able to say I know this part. Yet let me go bring on the other people because I don't know any of these parts. These things are designed not to become isolated to who's the next influencer. It should be designed around community and how we can help each other. How we can help when somebody goes to a new place that they don't got to start from square one. How we can help somebody go to a new country and not get scammed on their first time trying to get a house, not get their money taken because they put it into something that was a scam from the beginning. Even something like immigration. Colombia used to have a requirement for the check migration. Do you know that they had a fake check migration? They had a fake check migration app. People were calling me. They were booking trips with me, and they're like, "Yeah, I seen the app check migration. It says it cost me $15. It don't cost no money. What are you talking about? Why is there an entire app that looks just like the migration app? Now that there's no requirement for that anymore. But there are so many scams, and because you got baby eyes, you don't even know what danger looks like. That's why I tell you guys, there's people out here like myself, the people that we bring on, they'll hold your hand. I look at these travel groups, Black Sid, all the travel groups of people looking to move abroad, and some of the comments, and I'm like, it lets me know how ill prepared so many people are to leave. Yet there are so many people that are looking to leave. I saw somebody the other day said she moved her and her son down to, I think it was in Merida or something. She said she moved into a place that's got mold. Well, one, if you know anything about beach towns, you have to be extremely careful of that. You got salt water all the way in the air. It's always raining. You got hurricanes. Depending on people will literally paint over something, and if it looks good, it don't smell, and nobody's complaining, then nobody's complaining. And it could be mold. The air condition been running, and the air conditioning unit hasn't been clean, and it's like you didn't do that by yourself. You came with your son. And that's tough because people are like, I'm running out of places and I heard that it's nice there. And then they haven't done their research even on the ground to be like, oh, well, this place has mold. Let me bring a mold detector. Let me. This is real. Tisha was talking about that the other day. Tisha was like, yeah, people want to go to chasing cheap, want a $300 house, but then she ended up leaving. The girl ended up leaving because she was on the other side of Santa Marta, Colombia, and she was around nobody, so she couldn't do that. But her house was $300. Or I tell people, oh, you don't want to live in this building or this neighborhood because when it rains, the whole neighborhood floods. but they don't do any research, don't want to work with a professional that can help them. And next thing you know, they in a place where they're like, oh, I lost all my things that I moved out here with because my place flooded. Why would you put yourself in this scenario? It's hard enough dealing with these things back in the United States from the comforts of our own home, in our own language, in our own culture of how things, fast things go, and how I can get things done. Imagine not knowing the language, not knowing that nobody's in a rush in some of these places. So your expectations of this should be done by the end of the day might not happen. These things are all reality, yet so many of y'all are rushing out saying, I'm applying for my Nomad visa, but I haven't even gone in the United States. Can you guys help me? I'm like, no, no. I literally talk people off the Nomad visa and the let me go purchase a rental property or a property, a new house over there. And I'm like, tell me three neighborhoods in the house. Well, I know, I mean, tell me three neighborhoods in the city you're moving to. Well, I know, I stayed in Poblado, and okay, so the thing about Poblado is an entire neighborhood. There's like five different subsectors of Poblado, probably even more. So that lets me know, like Ciudad del Rio is not Mila de Oro, is not what is that? Las Palmas. Where do you want to live? Do you want a car? And then they come back to reality and realize that they don't realize they they realize that they didn't know as much as they thought that they were prepared to. And I'm telling them that they've got to take American glasses off. So many people that talk to me, whether they like it or not, I will always keep it real with you. American glasses are not the glasses that your prescription needs to be tuned to when you're going to look to move abroad. You need to put on, I don't know, Indonesia, Thailand glasses, Mexico glasses, South Africa glasses. You need to go get a whole new prescription because your life and what you're about to see is going to be different. Your entire expectations, you might as well go in with a clean slate. But so many of you guys are taking prescribed prescriptions from the United States and going there and trying to put it on Colombia and saying, well, the medicine ain't working. What I usually do isn't working. Well, you're not where you are. And hopefully, conversation like this will let you know that there's going to be a lot more that you probably need to do to go move abroad. Thinking that it's going to be easy as packing your bags and saying, everybody, I'm out. It ain't going to work like that. How do you stay long term abroad without packing up every 6 months? That is a real hard question for a lot of people that are running into this now. You going to be a student for the rest of your life? I personally don't even have 20 hours to go give to go be a student. That's the requirement for the visa. And it's like, oh, I can get paperwork. I'm like, I'm just trying to like not have to worry about anything. Maybe if you go come up with 120, $30,000 for property, cool. That'll allow you long term. You go open up a business there, but open up a business comes with its own nuances, the local laws, the taxes, the local people. All of these things are nuanced. What do you want to do? That's why I'm like, over the last couple of days, I've been thinking about different ways to additionally help you guys outside of conversations and the conferences and different things. And if you're new here, you're going to hear this for the first time. But if you're not new here, I always tell people, you need to know your whys. And writing down your whys is going to be one of the biggest important things that your move abroad is going to be able to have legs on, because your whys are why you're leaving. And so many people just have all of this up in their head, and it's like you need to go get a notebook that is dedicated to your move abroad process. Maybe a journal with your whys, what you're leaving, and what you're looking for in a new country, and jotting that down. When you see things on the TV or on the news, and you have a reaction to it, put that into it. These are things that, one, you'll be able to reference as you are getting yourself together. But two, once you get abroad, the notes that I wrote myself during this move abroad process, the feelings and the things that I was going with, when things get tough, I can go back to that. And it allows me to remember where I was 3 years ago. It allows me to understand just how far it is that I've come, just how many things that I had to endure to get where it is that I am today, challenges that I had to go through. It also keeps me humble and realizing that this was a process. I had to change my life. I had to change everything about who I was and what I was open to doing to be successful here. But looking at these things, and I'm like, that's what I got. So we will definitely be having some resources for you guys that are going to be designed to help you jot some of these things down and be able to keep it with you and have it so you can go back to it. We are so overworked and overwhelmed in the United States that thinking that all of this stuff being inside of our head, thinking that's why you guys are running to go get a Nomad visa, because that just seems like the easiest thing that you heard to go get done. Oh, you get the Nomad visa, and then everything will be cool. None of these people are telling you that 2 years ain't going. It's no time. And if maybe you can get it 2 years and then 2 more years, but you'd be surprised those 4 years will go fast, and you're still not at a long term solution with no accumulated time. Maybe you're not ready to go and tell a government how much money you make every month, but that's the requirement. Maybe you don't have a job. I tell people that don't have a job and don't have a steady income to stay at home until you have a way to make money abroad. Even if you start an online business, it probably won't start making money tomorrow. Go build it up, then leave. Because I don't want you to come back home. The only reason I want you to go back to the United States once you move abroad is if you want to. Not because your job said you got to go home, not because you ran out of money, not because somebody scammed you because you was not paying attention and doing dumb stuff, not because they lied to you and didn't tell you. No, I'm telling you, the people that say they lied to me and told me that moving abroad was going to be like this, those people are the people I'm telling you I got to stop listening to. Seriously, because you will not hear anything. I will not bring anybody on here that will be sitting here telling you something that is bad for you in this move abroad process. It's y'all that are running the likes and the comments up for people that are not giving you anything solid. Yes, you do need to know where the best bars are and the restaurants. But when you are thinking about moving abroad, you're going to have to get a lot deeper than where to eat and where to party at. You're going to need to know what you need for a nomad visa when you actually go about it. Do I actually need a nomad visa coming out of the United States for the first time? These people be lined up with the lawyers. So they're like, yeah, let me see if I could turn 20 new people on nomad visas, not caring how you are. Good for me and bad for me. That's why I always do my best to do a good job. I'm personable. So when people talk to me as well as meet me, they don't just stop talking to me. People don't move through us and then like I'll never hear from them again. I hear from these people all the time. We see each other on Facebook. We might comment on each other's things. We're in the same town. We might go out and link up with each other because what we're doing is building community here. And I want my community, which is the people that are on the other side of this camera, to actually have value in not only the things that I'm saying, but value in looking at how big this move abroad is and how much you actually need to put in your relocation book bag. All of these tools, all of these resources, all of the people that I bring on to make certain that it don't just start and stop with me. It's an entire team that we put together at Move Travel, and I want you guys to continue to tap in with the resources that we have for you, tap in with the conversations. I'm going to be putting some information out because we do have some schedule changes to the lives. Moving forward, starting next Monday, we will be on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you can be right here to make certain you see all of our live information, whether it's me bringing on our experts, me with the cast for Roots and Routes podcast, or me just like here today talking about things that I'm seeing in these group chats and Facebook groups that I'm like, let me address this at least on my platform because I'm seeing this come up too much. People, you don't need the nomad visa to go move abroad. Your passport works just fine initially, but I told you, you might want to just use your passport a little bit before you go selling everything. That way you have some flexibility in your life. Don't put everything in a bag and just jump off of TikTok and whatever you saw there. We also will be we got coming soon. I was able to see the website today. So movetravelabroad.com will be coming soon. There we have not only resources for you to move abroad on Colombia, that includes Santa Marta, Medellin, and Cartagena. We also have Mexico, Panama, as well as South Africa. So in the next couple of months, you're going to be seeing a virtual relocation conference that is going to give you, if you have all of these on your radar, if you only have some of them on your radar, it's up to you, but you will actually get real talk from the experts on how to move, how much it costs, what relocation opportunities that are available to you, from tours to other virtual conferences to free classes and workshops. You know, we're doing our best to make this move abroad process as easy as we can. But we've got so many other things outside of just moving abroad. You know, destinations are cool, but we're going to bring in an immigration lawyer. So he'll be able to tell you about the visa types and how to go about doing them, more nuanced than I can. We also bring in our healthcare and medical tourism expert. He'll be able to guide you around what healthcare looks like for Americans abroad, no matter where you go, as well as different medical tourism options. Some people think medical tourism and think hair transplants and BBLs. But how many people you know in America don't have a side tooth? The cost of replacing a side tooth in America is outrageous. So people are now starting to travel to places like Mexico and Colombia. Now you gotta go all the way to Turkey to get your hair done. These things are relevant because it's about your quality of life. Never mind cosmetic things, but even dental surgeries, not the big teeth. I'm just talking about getting a root canal, getting your cavity filled. These things are legit, and you see more and more people not only traveling but moving abroad for these things. Outside of some big hitter topics, one thing I don't think people talk about is your mental health when you move abroad. How do you go into a scenario where you're in a new culture, a new language, adapting to these things? You go call your family and your friends, but you're having a entirely different experience than these people are having. Well, that's why we brought on doctors that are essentially going to be able to offer you coaching. These coachings are going to be designed based off of what the actual expat experience is like and how you are able to help get navigated through this process, as well as people that have children. You'd be surprised that a lot of the parents, they're thinking that their kids are going to have the hard time. Well, Mr. Helicopter Parent, it's actually you that has more of a hard time than your child, but still needing to be able to help them navigate through a new culture, a new language, new time zone. These things are important. So we'll have our expat coaches that will be available. They'll be on the conference as well as you'll be able to reach out to them on movetravelabroad.com. And lastly, my two favorite things, because a lot of people are moving abroad for these two reasons. One, you cannot retire in the United States because everything costs so much. Much money can you put towards retirement? Are you ever going to be able to retire? Well, moving abroad, taking your finances going from maybe $5,000 to $6,000 all the way to $3,000 a month for a better lifestyle than what $6,000 was charging you in the United States. Well, that frees up $3,000 a month. But what do you do with it? So we'll have an expert, financial expert, coming on talking to you about how to build wealth abroad. And the biggest topic, because I know a lot of you guys may be in a scenario where you are college educated and paying student loans back has been completely outrageous. Well, one of the reasons I tell people, if you are strapped with student loan debt to move abroad, is the reason why I said, if you're looking to retire, you could lower your monthly expenses and then now free up money that you did not have because you just still needed to live. Well, now you got an extra $3,000, and that $1,500 student loan bill can actually be paid off. How we go about doing that is connecting you with my homegirl, who's Sonia, the student loan doctor. She'll be going on, and she has an entire university which is designed to help get your student loans repaid or forgiven. She also tells you different ways to help navigate some of these different options that the government has available to you, as they are ever changing as much as immigration is. These things and more will be available to you coming up next November the 22nd is when the virtual conference is. MoveTravelAbroad.com will be available soon, so you guys can go check out all the resources and book. We do have a community that we are building, so you'll be able to go look at all of our things in a categorized way so that it makes it real easy to help join the community, ask your questions, get real information from the experts. And honestly, the last thing I want y'all to do and make certain we do these things live because I want you guys to be able to jump in Ask questions about what you may be having regarding the move abroad process. Ask questions about where you may be at in the move abroad process. If I got the answer, best believe I'm going to give it to you. If I don't, I will make certain about going to find the answer or bringing the expert on that can dive into that answer a lot more deeply. So that way, you are getting what you need into your book bag. That's what we're gonna put. We're gonna get y'all some relocation book bag and put that on the website. We'll make it real cheap because you need to get it. I'm telling tell y'all, y'all need to put y'all tools together, both physically as well as your fake tools, your the word is escaping me right now, but realistically, I want y'all to be as equipped before as possible with this move abroad. So all of the things we just highlighted are designed to help you. I really hope that tonight somebody heard something that help them stop going to go file for a Nomad visa and they forgot that they had 180 days on their passport, realizing that these things are designed to take your money. All of the world wants your money. It's just how you're going to go about navigating these things. Maybe you end up going to get the visa, but you may not need to get it right away. If you can't name three neighborhoods in the city that you're looking to move to in the country, then you shouldn't be selling everything to go move there. That is my best advice to you. I appreciate you guys as always. Wrapping it up right around an hour. I will be back. I will be back on Monday. Monday. Go keep your eyes open. I've got so much content to release as far as different conversations. So keep your eyes open. Make sure you guys are going to YouTube, Black Expat Life Abroad. There is you can find all of the videos that we have put together for you. You guys can also go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you guys are listeners, you can go there and actually listen to us on your way to work or going home from work. Outside of that, jump in my DMs, go in my messages. Let me know what it is that you need. Any questions that you may have about the move abroad process, I am here to help. As always, I am RJ Mood. It has been a pleasure, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. I will see you guys next week. Stay safe.